real quick, obviously you heard the news. We had a positive COVID with a staff member today. It was a vaccinated staff member and someone that works with our players. So due to caution, we sent, some players home, just trying to make sure we got out in front of it. We will lose some players, through the process. None of them have tested positive, but, it's basically due to close contact, they'll have to be out 5 days from when their last contact. So it's not necessarily today. So there's a chance we could get a player back, maybe two, we'll see, by game day. But they'll be out, up to 5 days. Those players would be Vernon Butler, Star Lodalele, Cole Beasley, and Gabe Davis. So we will lose 4 players, for up, the next 5 days, or some of their clocks started maybe even 2 or 3 days ago. With that said, this is part of the world we're in, and fortunately it's preseason. Hopefully no other positives will show up. If they do, we'll deal with them, and we'll be ready to play, come Saturday against Green Bay. I'm open to questions if you guys have any.
Hey, Brandon, what is your message to the team going through something like this? Certainly at this point in the preseason, it doesn't have the same effect that it possibly could once we hit the regular season.
Yeah, John, I mean, this is our new normal. It's not the normal we like, but it's the world we're in. We're not exempt from any of this, as we've said many a times, and we're going to try to keep our building as safe as we can. And, everyone understands the protocols and the rules. And, this staff member, this morning mentioned they felt something that wasn't anything major. And so, Nate Bresky sent them out to go test. And I don't even think they thought they had it. But in fact, they did. And we immediately got into action before the league interviews you with their team. Their medical team, if you're a positive, they interview you, but it takes some time to go through that. That's why we just now are getting the results of this. But we kind of do our own quick one just so we can try and, out of safety, get as many people out of the building that we think could be affected. And so there were some people that weren't at practice today that will be able to return tomorrow.
When the phrase competitive advantage was used discussing the vaccine, is this an instance that you guys were referring to?
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's, the unfortunate part of it is, this can happen in the regular season. Even if you're not positive, if you are a close contact to someone who is, depending on when that contact is, it's 5 days from when you were last in close proximity to them. So that's the world we're in, John. We don't love it, but we're going to try and make the most of it.
Hey, Brandon, I know you said that this is kind of the cards that you're dealt and there's only so much you can do, but what were your emotions when you found out kind of about this latest obstacle? Is it frustration knowing that if there were more people vaccinated, this could have been avoided? Is it understanding and realizing that every team is kind of dealing with this? I guess kind of what were you feeling when you found this out?
Yeah, the first thing is it just one positive, and let's get everybody tested and cross our fingers. It's just the one, which fortunately at this point, that's all it is. We'll definitely cross our fingers the next few days and hope that no one else pops up. That's the biggest thing, to keep from a spread. I think I'm numb to the fact that, we know when we come in here every day, you're just glad everybody's negative. And so that's kind of where we're at. It's been going on so long, Matt, that expect the unexpected with this. We don't have it figured out. We don't have it under control. And we just have to deal, with the cards that are dealt.
Just from a logistics standpoint, do you have an updated number? And I know the numbers will change once you guys continue to kind of get down to your final 53, but where you are as a team percentage-wise of who's vaccinated, fully vaccinated, and all that?
Yeah, I mean, we're similar to what we were when I mentioned that low 80s%. I don't have an updated with what we've done, the latest roster moves we've done. I don't know if we're still above that 80% threshold. It may be slightly below it. But, we had a push right as camp started to get us over that 80 number, and it kind of has leveled off since then.
Thank you, Brandon.
You got it, Matt.
Hey, Brandon, Sal Capaccio, WGR. Just to clarify, I know you gave us those 4 names. It was reported earlier, Matt Milano and AJ Klein. Can you give us any confirmation or tell us anything about their situations at all?
Yeah, I mean, those guys, we sent them home just to be safe. They had been around at one point. We just tried to, anyone that we thought could be potentially, we tried to pull them out and then let the league do the league ultimately decides based on interviews, and that's what they came up with of who would be ruled out. And so the guys you mentioned they miss practice, but they'll be able to return tomorrow.
Okay, and can you just walk through us the mechanics and the operation of it, just so we're all familiar how this works with, you find out, like just from the start, you find out about your staff member, what happens from there, when you, what happens with the players when you tell them, and that, can you just give us a timeline of how all that works for you?
Yeah, I mean, these guys all test in the morning, or in this case, this person felt the symptom, this morning, after he's been in the building, and we sent him, Nate sent him back out to test. And once we got the results, then, he went home. He didn't come back in the building, but he had been in there. And at that point, we try and, get on the phone with them and ask them who all they think they've been around, and run through those names and, start, anyone that they were around, we started sending them to the trailer to be tested as well, whether they were vaccinated or unvaccinated, before we let them back in the building. And once we kind of get that, then, you can go about your day with, these are the people we're going to have here today for meetings and practice. And then the league goes through their process. It can take 3, 4, 5 hours, depending on how many people they have to interview. They're just trying to piece together the puzzle using contact tracers, plus what people are saying when they're being interviewed, of who they were around. What was it like? Was it a 2-minute interaction? Were you eating with them? Were you in a car with them? What was all those things? And once they review the data, their medical team reviews the data, then they call me and they say, after looking at everything, in this case, the following 4 players, will be ruled out for a 5-day period. And, we'll get basically what day there is day 1 for them. Not all of them start day 1 today. Some of theirs could have been back 3 or 4 days.
Thanks. That was very helpful. I appreciate it.
You got it.
Hey, Brandon, Matt Perino here. I know it just happened, but it was a bit of a scary scene out there for a minute because he was down for a few minutes. Is there any update on Isaiah McKenzie and what happened there?
No, we sent him off to get checked out, and there's really nothing to offer with Matt. Hopefully Isaiah's okay, but I don't have anything right now.
Okay. And the only reason I bring it up is because, obviously Cole's going to be gone for a few games. You got Isaiah. What happened to Isaiah today? You don't know how long or if he'll be out, but is that like a teachable moment in the room? Obviously you guys have had these conversations. It's not like some new things where you need to bring up teachable moments. I'm sure there's been a lot of them, but this could really show you like a prime example of losing 2 guys at a position in the season.
Yeah, I mean, these are the rules. They are what they are, and it's, it doesn't matter whether I agree, disagree, or whoever does. It's these are the rules that currently have been agreed upon by the NFLPA and the league office. So we just deal with them, and no, we all understand them, and that's why I said I'm glad it's the preseason. Hopefully, we won't have a lot of this, in the regular season, but I'm sure, just like last year we did, I'm sure at some point this will happen as we get to the regular season.
Thanks, Brandon.
You got it.
Hey, Brandon, John Worrell, AP.
Hey, John.
Just knowing what you just talked about, the rules, and knowing what the rules are and how much they do favor vaccinated players as opposed to unvaccinated players who have to do this 5-day reentry. Is there any level of disappointment knowing that situations like these can be preventable?
Yeah, I mean, it's all hard, John. This has been going on so long. It was asked earlier, what was my emotions? It's like you just expect it and you deal with it. I don't, it's the world we're in, and I'm not going to let it get me down. I wish we weren't having to do this. I'm sure you guys wish we weren't either. But it's the way it is. And, we'll deal with it now, and we'll continue to deal with it, as we move forward in the season.
Because, and just as a follow-up, because if it happened during the regular season, I mean, something like this would be your worst nightmare. Well, maybe not your worst nightmare, but among them. It's things that keep you up at night.
Yeah, it's, in my seat, you like to control as much as you can. You really do, but it's just another, proof that I can't control everything. And we'll have as many reserves as we can, whether it's on practice squad or wherever else. And, just like we had to do in the games last year, whether it was that Arizona game, I think we lost, 3 or 4 guys, several DBs, as we were boarding the airplane. So unfortunately, we're not out of this thing. And, I know the whole world's ready to get past it, but it's moving in the right direction, but we still got a long way to go.
Thanks, Brandon.
You got it.
Hey, Brandon, first, thanks for spelling all this out for us. But I was just curious, based on the conversations you've had with your unvaccinated people, seeing the Pfizer vaccine getting formal FDA approval, is it your hope that your vaccination rate will increase? Do you anticipate that possibility existing?
Yeah, Chris, I don't know, these guys, they're all pretty well educated, and they all, it's an independent personal decision, and that's really where it is. And again, it's not a mandatory thing, as I mentioned earlier, that's agreed upon between the league and the union. So as long as it's not a mandatory thing, I think most teams are going to have a number of players that maybe some are waiting on that. I don't have a specific number of players that said, hey, if the FDA approves this, I'll get it or not. But, maybe some guys will look at this and say, hey, I don't want to deal with it. I'm not sure all of them will, but, time will tell.
Thanks.
Brandon, I know we don't know details of every player and their vaccination status, but does this situation, have any impact on maybe how you build, not maybe your roster, but your practice squads, considering you could have multiple players at one position out if something like this happens again?
Yeah, I mean, you do have to try and look at everything. It's hard. We don't, I'm not going to get boxed in to what I said in the spring. But yeah, it's tough, Jenna. We're trying to figure out, and to what I said earlier, we'll try and have as many answers as we can if and when this does happen in the season. So that's probably the best I can answer it.
Hey, Brandon, it's Marcel. Just to circle back a little bit, I know he just started feeling symptoms today, but the staff member who tested positive, do you know how he's doing currently? Is he still feeling all right?
Yes, I spoke to him after practice, and was, mild symptoms at this point.
Has the league ever explained to you why it is that vaccinated players are tested every 2 weeks, and vaccinated players are tested every 2 weeks, and unvaccinated go in every day?
No, they haven't. They really, Marcel, we just get our guidance from them. We have, whether it's Zoom calls or memos, and they just kind of lay it out for us. And basically they'll lay out what's been agreed upon between them and the PA. And this is what we expect you to follow. So there's really not a lot of back and forth. It's, these are the rules.
Gotcha. Considering that, like, the staff member was vaccinated, and so, hasn't been tested in a couple of weeks, is there kind of an overarching fear, not to keep asking you what you're scared of here, but is there kind of an overarching fear that, this could happen and a positive could go unnoticed for some time?
Yeah, that's it definitely can happen. It's important for all of us, if we feel anything, to go get tested. And we've educated our staff on that. And, I believe this staff member this morning said, you know what, I need to probably get tested. Again, I don't think this person thought he had it, but just in case. So we're trying to educate everyone. It's hard because, we're all accustomed, or most of us are accustomed to going to work, not feeling well. Some days you just go do your job. But this day and age, if you feel anything, you got to be safe, out of caution. So that's what we'll continue to do, is whether you're tested every day or not, we're going to continue to educate everyone in the building. If you sense anything or you feel like you've been around someone that test positive, let's play it smart.
Gotcha. And I'm sorry to everybody for dominating time like this, but just one more. We heard from Dion last week about his experience with COVID. What was your reaction to what Dion went through over the past 3-4 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we felt really bad for Dion. It's a tough situation. Normally, we can put our medical team and put our hands on him, but in that situation, we couldn't. And, but definitely our guys stayed in touch and helped him, get himself to the hospital and get the care that he needed. And, we stayed up on him the best we could. And, it's definitely a tough thing when you see that. And it does show you, athletes that are performing at a high level, this virus doesn't, no one is exempt, none of us. And, we're all in this together, and we all got to try and fight through it.
Gotcha. Thanks, Brandon.
You got it, Marcel.
Hey, Brandon, Tim Graham here. Hope you're doing well. This isn't my main question, but just to make sure that we have this right, Vernon Butler was out there at practice today. Is there any extra protocol or anything extra you need to do because he was out there and around all the other players today before he was removed?
Yeah, I think that one surprised us, from the conversation that Nate had with the staff member through the interview process, going back and forth, the timeline. I think he had forgotten, about the interaction there, and because it was, maybe back a little bit. And also, you don't know when, I guess the best way I can put this, he probably was giving us the last 24 hours. I think that interaction was a little bit longer, and probably didn't realize that the medical team would say he may have still been positive then. So again, we'll try to do our best each time of this, but that one's one that did catch us by surprise. Otherwise, Vernon would not have practiced today, Tim.
Is there extra concern there that something could have happened in the period of time of whether it be he exposed or getting exposed or?
Well, no, Vernon, we did test Vernon.
Okay.
So we know he's clear today.
Gotcha.
He didn't have enough viral load. So we believe even if he were to come down, that he, according to the medical people, he shouldn't be shedding the virus, the best we know.
Gotcha. Okay. So then this is my question. I let's say that this situation provides enough perspective to the guys on the team who aren't vaccinated to say, all right, this is the thing. I don't want to go through this again. I'm going to get my shot. You're still looking at week 4, I think, if the math works out, of these guys being vaccinated or considered fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
What is
the one shot? If you do the one shot, it's 2 weeks.
okay?
And you can also, Tim, if you've had COVID in the past, a documented case, then one shot, per the rules, one shot is considered fully vaccinated once the 2 weeks has passed. So if we had anyone go today, 2 weeks from today, they would be fully vaccinated if they've had it or they took the one shot.
And ready to go for the season opener.
Yes.